Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of my journey to impact 1,000,000 people. My name is Cliff Duvinois, and today I'm going to talk to you about the journey that I'm on, the process that I'm following, kind of give you an update as to where that all stands. So I know I mentioned before that I am working on this LinkedIn project for small businesses, helping them to be able to generate leads. So kind of give you a little bit of a backstory here. I got introduced to this 30-day ClickFunnels challenge. I know some people in my group are talking about it, and it was really like an effective way. Literally, like the whole class is you go through and you build out an actual business. And then when 30 days is over, you actually leave the class with an online business that you can make money from. So one of the things that they said at the very beginning of this, of course, is that, you don't need a product, just go ahead and get started. So I was like, okay. And I didn't worry about it. I thought I would do this LinkedIn thing, but truth be told, I just did not have, anything like down, like as far as notes go, or like a real process or anything else. It was kind of like all in my head, just stuff that I was implementing for a couple clients that I've been working with. So wasn't anything dramatic. But then in week 2 of the training, they actually came along and said, okay, now you have to build your product. But here's the catcher though. You've got to get your product done within the next 2 weeks. And this is everything, right? So if you're writing a book, you have to get it done in 2 weeks. And this includes any cover art and images. If you're going to shoot video or do anything else, no matter what you do, you have to put it together. Now, there's like 3 buckets really that all the products fall into. So the first bucket, of course, is something that you give away for free. Then there's a second bucket where you put items in there for people to buy. Typically, it's like a mid-level price. And then there is a third bucket where you put your higher ticket item in there. So literally, there's like 3 buckets to design products for. So when I took a look at the scope of what it is that I was going to have to do, I just remember thinking to myself, there's just no way I can do this. I mean, literally, I want to create something that provides real value. And if somebody's going to buy this, I definitely don't want to disappoint them. I want to make sure that whatever the product is, that it actually delivers, real value. But I just didn't know if I would be able to do it or not, and I knew it was going to be tough. And I knew that, if I started outsourcing everything, that it was going to get pretty expensive. And then there would be like these long timelines, and people will, come back and say, well, what do you really want to do? And I was like, I got to get it done in 2 weeks. So if it's going to be, it's up to me, right? And I kept thinking to myself, okay, Cliff, don't ask or don't say to yourself that you can't do this. Just ask yourself, how can you do this, right? Reframe the question, right? Well, of course, I knew at this point that I was going to have to spend a ton of hours in front of the computer, days in front of the computer, actually. And I've done this before. When I've been working from home, there have been 2-3 days where I've spent all my time inside working on the computer, just trying to make sure that, everything is moving forward. I don't go out, don't go grocery shopping. I don't go hang out with friends or anything else like that. It's literally like from the moment I get up, I come sit here in the chair, work on my iMac. At some point in time, I go get breakfast, shower, sit back down, work again. I mean, it's like all day long, right? So, to get this done, I'm like, you know what? I've done this before. I'll do it again, right? So my plan is, man, I'm just going to work night and day, right? I already get up at the insane hour of 3 o'clock every single day. So I'll just get up at that same time and just focus on working. I'll sacrifice anything that is non-essential, right? If I absolutely don't have to do it, if people ask me out or whatever it is, I'll say thanks, but no thanks. I've got to get my school project done. And of course, this also means that if I'm doing it myself or whatever it is, I got to focus on keeping my costs low, because the first thing that's really a lot of people are tempted to do when they start a new endeavor is go out and they just spend a lot of money. It's like, well, I'm going to start a business, so I need a desk, and I'm going to need a whiteboard, and I'm going to need 3-ring binders, and I'm going to need a new computer, and I'm going to, they just go spend happy. For me, I want to do this as cheap as possible, right? So that's my plan. Well, so I go in here and I start creating the products, right? I start creating books. I start creating videos like crazy. And of course, the software that I'm using is old. It's like way out of date. One of the pieces of software that I absolutely love is called Clarify. They don't make it anymore. They stopped making it because they saw that one of their other products was making them a lot more money. So they just stopped making the software. And I'm like, no, you can't do it, right? And then the other piece of software that I use to create my video, of course, they're wanting $200 for me to upgrade to the next version. Well, I don't even know if this is something that I'm going to continue to do. Truth be told, I haven't used the software in like 3 or 4 years. So I don't know if I want to invest the $200 into a piece of software that I might only use for a handful of days, right? And then when I'm actually recording the videos and I'm doing the voiceover like I'm doing here, I have had to start over so many times because some moron is out there on the street on his Harley Davidson revving his engine. So I'm like in the middle of a video and I have to stop, right? My train of thought, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated. I've had flocks of parrots hanging outside of my house, just screaming away. I've had dump trucks. There was one time I was almost done with this video when the buzzer on the wash machine went off. I mean, it's like one thing after another, right? So I'm having to fight my way through all of this mess, through all of this extra noise, just to try to get the video done, because the last thing I want to do is have somebody watch the video and hear my wash machine buzzing off. I don't want them to say, oh, it sounds like Cliff's laundry is done, right? And another thing too that came up is that in order to get this done in the next like 2 weeks, I've had to like really pare it down and focus on what is really the shortest way between point A and point B, right? There is no room for fluff in there, right? All the fluff completely melts away. It's like, you know what? I need to get the bare essentials down, right? So I said, you know what? When I mapped out the process, it was like all the fluff is gone. So I don't want to talk about the history of LinkedIn. I don't want to talk about how it was funded. I don't want to talk about the co-founders. None of that matters. If people are buying this, it's because they're interested in generating leads on LinkedIn. None of that stuff is relevant. So what is like the bare essentials? What's the fastest route to go from A to B, right? And because I have that defined as a straight line, that makes it really super simple to go in and create the content that I need to do. It's just that it's so time consuming, right? So in the midst of all that, all the software being outdated and old and the software constantly crashing, in addition to the Harley Davidson motorcycles and those stupid parrots, all of a sudden now I find myself, I have finished with the free product. Sweet Moses. I'm almost done with the second bucket, right? The mid-range bucket in there. I've been working feverishly on that over the last 2 days. And today I realize I'm almost done with it. The third bucket I've started, I think with one more day of concentrated work, I'll get that finished. But the one thing is that I'm actually creating this product and actually stitching it together. The one thing that really occurred to me while I was doing this was like, this is something that I would absolutely love to buy, just because of the mentality of what's the fastest way between point A and point B, right? What is that quickest distance? Nothing irritates me more than when I'm watching a video and somebody's trying to explain something to me and I literally fast forward through the first 3, 5, 10 minutes of the video just to get to the meat, right? This is all meat, right? So I discovered that that's something that I really like, in addition to the fact that I think, I believe in my heart of hearts that, by spending and getting these people up and running quickly, man, I have to say, I really do get a kick out of the fact that people are going to enjoy this and that I'm going to have a role in helping them build, not only start a company, but perhaps build their company, something I'm very excited about. Anyways, that's all I have for this episode 7. Thank you very much for listening. I will be back tomorrow with episode 8.